Hi, friends and family. Hey, loved ones and fools. I'm just getting into, something about pride and about the wounds of like the shadow feminine and our unexplored power and our relationship to power and to external authority and claiming our own worth, knowing our own worth, and valuing like who we really are. And so I've been looking into some things and this continuity and agreeing uh, to new stories of I am worthy and we are worthy. And so what's been coming up is this belief that there's only one way to be, like to be worthy and to be included and to be like what we ought to be. And that's the spiritual ego. And I like had never looked into that one before, and I found some things about that were interesting and that relate to some of my alchemy work. But I just wanted to share like something that I found out today, because it was like, oh, I don't really know, how does the spiritual or the super ego work, and what's the super ego all about. And so I went and I did some investigation and I looked into some things, and I just thought, wow, that is pretty cool. And so what I found today on an article online, it was called id, ego, and superego. And so the superego incorporates the values and morals of society, which are learned from one's parents and others, maybe others in authority. The superego consists of two systems, the conscience, and ideal self. The superego has the function of persuading the ego to turn to moralistic goals rather than simply realistic ones, and to strive for perfection. The conscience can punish the ego through causing feelings of guilt. The ideal self, or the ego ideal, is an imaginary picture or a false image of how you ought to be, and represents aspirations of how to treat other people, how to behave as a member of society. Behavior or self-policing standards, that's my own, of the tyrant ego. Standards which fall short of the ideal self may be punished by the superego through guilt. The superego can also reward us through the ideal self when we behave properly. And so I was like, oh, that's what the virtue signaling is about, huh? By making us feel proud or superior. If a person's ideal self is too high a standard, then whatever the person does will represent or feel like failure. The ideal self and conscience